Mini skirt on, dip my body in glitter. Platform sneakers, all the boys want a picture. Two foreign cars, I make rich look richer. Save your breath, baby, I'm not going home with ya. Mini skirt on, dip my body
Hello. You're now tuned into the Little Bit a Lot podcast. I'm your host, Kristen, and welcome back to another week. I'm so excited that you guys joined me this week because we are taking a trip down memory lane. That's right, it's time to talk about Bratz. If you listened to my show before, you know that I am a huge Bratz stan, and in my adulthood, I have gotten back into my love for the Bratz and the entire franchise and started a Bratz doll collection again, you know what I mean? So like it's really real. Okay, like I rep for my girls down, literally lived and breathed for Bratz down when I was young. So it's really just been a full circle moment. Like the brand has been that girl then and the brand is that girl now. So I figured, why don't we talk about one of the Bratz movies and just the era that had the most impact on me as a kid. Okay, a lot of girls love Bratz fashion pixies. They even love, Stan Bratz babies. They stand Bratz rock angels. And like at the end of the day, I love them all. Like every single like era, every single movie, all the soundtracks, like I eat them up. Like, but at the same time, nothing hits to me personally the way that Bratz Forever Diamondz hits. The dolls, the soundtrack, the game, every single thing about it just screams Kristen's childhood, like Kristen core. So I revisited the movie Bratz Forever Diamondz as an adult just to take a look and see, like, does it hold up the same? And for some reason, like, as much as like the entire like Forever Diamondz era had such a big impact on me, I don't remember the movie being this crazy. So I'm like, you know what? This movie had so many ups and downs and it's just so insane, and I feel like not enough people show love to Forever Diamondz that I figured we would just recap some of the shenanigans that the girls have to go through in this film. So we're gonna talk about that, but before we get into it, if you're new here, thank you so much for joining. If you're watching on YouTube, give this episode a like, comment down below to let me know, do you love Forever Diamondz or do you prefer Rock Angels or, whatever era of Bratz, let me know. And subscribe. I'm almost to my first 700 subscribers. So I really, really appreciate if you hit that subscribe button and turn those post notifications on. I've said it before and I'll say it again. I know a lot of people are intimidated to subscribe to a new content creator because 90% of my viewers on YouTube watch and don't sub, but I swear, like, you don't have to be afraid. Okay, this is a safe space. We talk about mental health, we talk about pop culture. Like, I've got you covered. I'm your girl, like, to the end. So hit that subscribe button to join the gang, and like that way you don't have to miss out on any of the fun. And if you're listening on Spotify, Apple, rate that 5 stars and leave a review to let me know what you think about the show. So like I said, Forever Diamondz was a really, really big part of my childhood. And it was just like my favorite out of all of the eras. Like the aesthetic being diamonds and it being like rich and flashy, luxurious, and just extra, I put in my notes. It was just everything that little Kristen loved. Like I live for the glamour, you know what I mean? The glitz and the glam. And I also love the fact that the Bratz Forever Diamond CD came with a bracelet. Like, you would have thought that it was literally giving VVS bust down the way that I used to flaunt that bracelet. And on top of that, the Bratz Forever Diamondz dolls claim to come with like a real authentic diamond in the packaging as well. So like I ate that up, of course. So iconic movie, iconic dolls, iconic album, like especially the album. The album had more impact on me than the movie even did. Okay? Like that album for Bratz Forever Diamondz has so many bangers. Basically all 14 songs on that album are so good to me. Like to this day, 29 years old in 2025, my sister and I will still listen to that if it comes on shuffle and turn up like the music would have just came out yesterday. Like, it just screams nostalgia. Every single thing about all 14 songs on that Bratz Forever Diamond the album just make me feel so good and so whole. And I've said it before, but when it comes to the Bratz, Forever Diamondz album, I feel like it had such a big impact on me as a kid in 2006, 2007, 8, because it was just such empowering music. Like, they don't make the kids music like they do, back in the day today. Like, it was just so empowering. They talked about, the importance of expressing yourself, the importance of being true to who you are, the importance of embracing your friends, appreciating your friends, the importance of learning yourself and expressing your style through fashion. Just like the message of it all was just everything that I needed to hear. And it's just, I feel like, a big reason why I am the person that I am today. So shout out to the producers. Like, y'all tore on that Bratz Forever Diamondz album. Like, it was on repeat. I know my mom was sick of me because I used to take the CD and put it in the car too. Like, you really think I'm not going to bring this CD and turn up in the Trailblazer? And of course, the Bratz Forever Diamondz game played on the GameCube. So much fun. So much fun. So when I revisited this movie, I was like, okay, there is a lot going on here. So to give you a recap, because I feel like this needs to be talked about, like, these are the movies that shaped us. These are the movies that we grew up on. And it's like, what is happening here? Basically, like, in this movie, like, in Rock Angels, they had already met this dude named Byron Powell, who I basically believe is like a Simon Cowell dupe, right? So then when we get into Forever Diamondz, they're already very familiar with Byron Powell. And in Forever Diamondz, Byron Powell is the host of a show called America Rocks Fashion. And the Bratz are obviously contestants in this show. And it starts on a Monday morning, and there's two teams. So you have Team Bratz, and then you have their rival, which is Team Your Thing Magazine, which of course is led by Berdine and the two twins, the Tweevils, who work for her. So you got Your Thing Magazine, like I said, Team Bratz Magazine, Monday morning, and they have to drive across America in these semi trucks that open up and turn into like fashion show runways. They have to take that truck across America, and they have to stop at 3 small towns along the way and get to New York. Every town, they get to pick one upcoming teen fashion designer. They have to make it to the final stop by Saturday night. And then all 6 contestants that they pick will model their own fashions in the America Rocks fashion show. And the winner gets a contract with a popular fashion designer and a pair of diamond go-go boots. And me as a kid, I'm like, wait, the diamond go-go boots eat. To this day, I see the picture, they show the diamond go-go boots, and I'm like, yeah, like, those tear. Like, I would want to win those too. Like, are you freaking kidding me? They are so luxurious looking, like, so glamorous. After that, the Bratz are excited. They're like, yes, we have a passion for fashion. So, of course, it's fitting that we are in this show and we get to go across the country and seek out other cool fashion designers like us. This is good exposure for the brand. This is good exposure for the magazine. Everybody's geeked up. I think it was Jade or either Yasmin was like, I'm excited to be able to see my country and see more of like what's out there, in the land. Like, we're traveling across America in this semi truck. But of course, if you grew up watching anything Bratz related, then you would know that Chloe is our resident anxiety queen. Okay, like, she has severe anxiety down, so she immediately expresses the fact that she is not fond of the idea of traveling across the country and doing this road trip, because she says it's, quote, gonna be lots of greasy foods, wide open spaces, and small towns, which is not good for someone with agoraphobia like her. And I'm like, right, Chloe, like, we love a self-aware queen. At least she can admit right? That she has a phobia, agoraphobia. And for those who don't know, I looked it up for you. Agoraphobia involves fearing and avoiding places or situations that might cause panic and feelings of being trapped, helpless, or embarrassed. So while she's expressing her concerns and her fears to the rest of the girls, she's hoping that this would be obviously like confidential. We have Byron, who's supposed to be their friend. Like I said, they've been rocking with him since Rock Angels. Okay, when they met him when they were in the UK. And he's eavesdropping and he hears Chloe talking about her being scared. And for some reason, this intrigues him. And I'm like, right, like that's strange. And he like goes back and he lets the audience know, for the reality show that they're filming, like this is for a show, that the teams, Your Thing and Team Bratz, as they're making their way across America in these semi trucks, they cannot have cell phones, they can't have a GPS, they can only use a map. So I'm like, okay, that sucks. And then they start their road trip. And I think one shot that was really interesting to me as they make their way across the country and they take a break is they park the semi truck, right? They go to sleep, but then they have sleeping bags and each of the brats are lined up on top of the semi truck, like staring at the stars in their sleeping bags. Like, who does that? Like, why are you guys sleeping on top of the truck? I'm so confused. So after they sleep on top of the semi truck and take a break, they finally make it to their first stop in their first city. Well, before that, Chloe is like driving, right? Before they make it to their first stop. It's her turn to drive. And, like I said, she's already a little bit anxious and has said that she's not really interested in doing this, but she's going to do it for the plot because she has a passion for fashion, that's going to overpower everything. But she's a little bit spooked because on the side of the road, she sees a hitchhiker. And the hitchhiker basically has like a scarf covering like everything but their eyes, and he's got like this jacket on and like a hat, a cowboy hat, and looks like really mysterious and creepy. And of course, hitchhikers stick their thumb up as if they're like asking for a ride, and she's like, that's spooky ooky. So she's asking the girls like, did you see that person? And they're like, no, like we ain't see nothing. And then like an hour later, she sees the same like hitchhiker, and he's like, okay guys, like I'm freaking out, like I could have swore I just saw that same hitchhiker an hour ago. And of course, Yasmin being Yasmin, she's a sweetie at the end of the day, she was like, oh, like maybe we should give them a ride. And Chloe's like, TF, no, okay, like we should not talk to strangers, like that's literally like basic 101 of survival. Like you don't talk to strangers, and at the end of the day, hitchhikers could be quote unquote psychopathic maniacs. Like she is not playing. So they like don't even turn around to try to like get the hitchhiker. Like Chloe keeps it pushing. I know that's right. And then they end up taking another break and they stop at this motel, and I guess all of the girls like get in the hot tub, and once they all get out, everybody has gotten in except for Chloe. So they're like, Chloe, like, you should have gotten the hot tub with us. And she was like, yeah, I guess I'll get in now. So the rest of the girls walk off. Chloe heads towards the hot tub, and she's like talking to herself, and she's like, maybe I'm tripping. Like maybe I am just seeing things, because she's still stressed out about the fact that she saw that same hitchhiker like twice, once and then again an hour later. So she's like, I don't know, like maybe since they didn't see it, like maybe I'm tweaking, and then she gets ready to get in the hot tub, and tell me why she sees the hitchhiker for a third time and he emerges from the water in the hot tub. So of course she screams, she gathers the girls, they get in the semi truck and they drive the freck off. And the rest of them are just like still acting like she's crazy because they didn't see the hitchhiker. Like 3 times in, none of the rest of the girls have seen him but Chloe. So they're like, girl, she's off her rocker. And then that's when they make it to the first city, and the brats choose their first designer, which is Mandy Pickett. And Your Thing magazine, their rival company, chooses Christy Baker, who basically looks like the Tweevils. Okay, like if you've seen the movie, you know that she's basically just giving triplet at this point. So the Tweevils like immediately are not acting with her because they're like copycat, huh? So that was pretty funny to me. After that, they have to like make their way onto the second stop. So they picked up Mandy. Like I said, Team Your Thing picked up Christy. They go to their second stop and they take a detour and stop at this diner. And once they get into the diner, they notice that the waitress like kind of looks like sus a little bit. And of course, the waitress looks sus because it's literally Byron. Like, as the audience, we can tell that it's Byron in drag. But for some reason, the Bratz aren't like comprehending the fact that this is Byron in drag. So they're just like, oh, yes, ma'am. Like, yes, I'll take a coffee. You know what I mean? Like, they're kind of weary, but for some reason they're not like Byron, which of course it's like, girl, what's going on? Like, how can you guys not recognize that this is him? But anyway, they don't notice. And he proceeds to scare them all while pretending to be this like waitress lady, and basically tells them the story of the hitchhiker and saying that like this is a ghost. And they're like, oh my God, like maybe that's the like hitchhiker that Chloe kept saying that she saw, 3 times already. Like maybe it's a ghost. And now all of them are spooked because like even though the rest of them haven't seen him, Chloe has, and they're like, this is sounding a little bit too familiar. Like, what's going on? And so after that, while they're like being told this spooky freaking story by Byron and drag, the first contestant that they chose, Mandy, secretly walks off, goes outside of the diner, and she places nails in front of the tires of the semi-truck of their competitors, Your Thing magazine. And I'm like, girl, that is shady. And you got to think about it. These are all teenagers, right? It's so crazy to me that the Bratz are all teens and they don't have any parental supervision, and they're driving across America participating in this reality show, let alone picking up another teenager, Mandy, and she happens to be a literal demon from hell. Like, girl, what's going on? Like, are you a troubled teen or what? Because you want to win that bad that you are trying to sabotage the other team as soon as we pick you up? Where did you get these nails from? Like, it's psychotic behavior. This is the psychotic behavior that Chloe was worried about. Meanwhile, the enemy is in her team. Like, how were they supposed to know that the first contestant that they were going to pick up was going to be a crazy girl? So mind you, they don't know. They don't know that Mandy is off doing this, but she's out here plotting and scheming, okay? And then after they're, still in the diner hearing the spooky story, they leave, I guess, to go find Mandy or something like that. And they come back and the diner is like closed somehow, like that quick, and they see the ghost. They see the hitchhiker ghost. So now it's official. All the Bratz have officially laid eyes on the ghost. So now they're just like, oh my gosh, Chloe, like, we are so sorry. We know you've seen this ghost 3 times, and every time we were saying that you were tripping, but we all saw what we just saw. That was the freaking ghost. We are spooked and we apologize. So I'm like, okay, period. So the Bratz plus Mandy get back in the truck and they drive off. And then, of course, after a while, Team Your Thing hits the road again to make their way to their second city. And their tire goes flat because we saw, as the audience, Mandy put those nails in their tire. And they ended up like running their truck off the road. So of course Berdine is upset and she's like, okay, well, we have a flat tire, so change the tire. And the Tweebles are like, girl, we don't know how to change a tire. And she's like, okay, well, Christy, like, can you change the tire? And she's like, girl, I don't know how to change the tire either. Matter of fact, this is ghetto. I'm about to call my daddy and have my daddy come get me. And the Tweebles are like, that's crazy because we're not even allowed to have phones and you have a phone on you? Like, huh? And her dad pulls up and comes to get her. So basically, they already lost their first contestant. They're on their way to the second city and they don't even have their first contestant. Like, Team Your Thing magazine, Berdine and the Tweebles are going outside already, okay? That's when the Bratz make it to the second city. Of course, Team Your Thing haven't made it yet because they're dealing with a flat tire. And the Bratz are like, okay, it's time for us to choose our second contestant. We already have Mandy. We choose Tiffany. And Tiffany is a cute, sweet girl. Seems like a promising young designer. And they're like, okay, period. We got Mandy. We got Tiffany. Let's get ready to go. And then as they get ready to go, they're like, wait, where's our stuff? Like, Jade can't find her conditioner. Chloe's like, I don't have my wallet. And even Mandy is like, what? Like, I don't have my wallet either. So they're all just wondering, like, where did their stuff go? And then Byron happens to, like, be by them. And they're like, oh, like, Tiffany, your purse is leaking. And she ends up finding out that she's got like Jade's conditioner in her purse, everybody's wallets, like everybody's belongings are in her purse. And she's like, girl, I didn't do this. Like, I'm not shiesty like that. Like, I swear this is not me. She ends up immediately getting kicked off of the show. Like, that was so effed up. And then, of course, we see Mandy giving like a devilish grin because Mandy obviously framed Tiffany to make it look like she stole everybody's stuff. So that way she could be the only contestant. So now Team Your Thing is down a contestant, and so is Team Bratz. They end up making their way to the third city, which of course Team Your Thing I think showed up to the second city, but they were too late. So they don't have contestant 1 or 2, and the Bratz only have contestant 1, Mandy. So they're like, okay, whatever. We're going to make our way to the third city. And when they make their way to the third city, I guess like Team Your Thing, you know, Berdine, she's over it. She's like, you know what? We've gone through trials and tribulations. I don't have my first contestant. Didn't make it in time to get my second contestant because I think that the Bratz are sabotaging me. Like, clearly they're the ones that put the nail in front of my tire. And the Bratz were like, like, we ain't got nothing to do with that. Because mind you, they don't know that Mandy's out here doing stuff behind their back and sabotaging not only them, but everybody else. So they come up with the bright idea. Team Your Thing is like, okay, well, since the Bratz are being shady towards us and they want to sabotage us and mess with our tires, we're going to mess with this sign and turn it around so that way the Bratz can go the wrong way on accident and we can like potentially prevent them from making it to the third stop. So they mess with the sign. That's when, of course, the Bratz are like, oh, look, like, okay, turn right. When they're actually supposed to turn left, they make a turn right. And as they're driving, they're just like, dang, like, I feel like we went the wrong way because it's just giving like cornfields and country. Like, we don't see nothing. Like, I'm not sure that this is the right direction. They end up like going into some random like creepy cornfield. And they're looking around and they're just like, okay, like we need to figure this out and we need to figure out how to get back on track. Mind you, even though Team Your Thing sabotaged the Bratz and like had them going in the wrong direction, they still end up effed up again because not only did Mandy mess with their tires, but as they're on their way to the third, Mandy also messed with their brakes. So then they end up like driving off the road again. So Team Your Thing is like still going through the gags. And Team Bratz is now stuck like in the cornfields. Like everything is literally a freaking mess. And as they're in the cornfields, they're just like spooked out. And then they see a bunch of like scarecrows. But for some reason, the scarecrows have on really nice outfits. So they're like, wait, like even though it's kind of creepy out here, why are the scarecrows serving cunt? And then pops up this girl named Sheridan. And they're like, girl, did you design the outfits on these scarecrows? Because if you did, like, this eats down. Like, this is tea for real. And she's like, yeah, you know, I designed them. And they're like, okay, girl, well, since we literally don't have our second contestant, Tiffany, why don't you join the gang? And then you and Mandy can be contestant number 1 and 2 and come with us and, like, be on this reality show because you're such a good designer. And she's like, well, yeah, like I know, and I really, you know, enjoy the designs that you guys drop and everything, and I watch the show, but I don't think I would be able to do it because, you know, my parents, you know, they don't really know that I do this and they're just really strict. They end up going to Mandy's house and spending the night there and meet her parents. And at first her parents are like, hags, nah, you are not driving across the country with these girls on your own. Like, that's spooky. But in the end, they end up letting her go because Mandy decides to show her true colors. And she is so threatened at the fact that the Bratz want to choose Sheridan as their second contestant because she already sabotaged the first second contestant, Tiffany, and framed her for stealing. So now Mandy's like, I'm going to take matters into my own hands. And she steals the Bratz semi-truck. And not only does she steal the Bratz semi-truck, but on the truck was all of Sheridan's designs as well. So she's like, well, dang, like, not only are we not going to be able to have a ride to get to our next stop, but on top of that, you took Sheridan's designs with you. Like, what's going on? So that's when they were just like, dang, like Mandy is shady. And then everything starts clicking. The Bratz are like, you know what? Maybe she was the one who sabotaged the tires, for Team Your Thing. And maybe she was the one who framed Tiffany for like stealing. Like, dang, poor Tiffany, like we thought she was really stealing, but the whole time it was Mandy. So in the end, I guess Sheridan's parents like feel bad for them and they're like, okay, her mom lends them her car and then they make their way to the next stop. And also, like, somewhere in between all of that chaos, like, Team Your Thing, like I said, is still struggling. And then they see, like, aliens and, like, floating cows. So they're tweaking. They're like, what is going on out here? And that's when, like, the Bratz are driving Sheridan's mom's car and they're making their way to New York. That's when they see the ghost again. The creepy cowboy hitchhiker ghost. And Chloe is like, you know what? I've had enough. Okay, like I have been through it this whole week and I'm not about to let this ghost like keep clowning me. Like this is my third, fourth, fifth time seeing this freaking ghost. She said, run up, get done up. Okay, she stopped the car, got out of the car and started chasing the ghost by foot. Guys,
she's totally lost her mind.
Chloe, wait! You there! Foul-mouthed Foley! I want to talk to you.
I was like, Chloe, what is going on? Like, I just can't, like, for some reason, I just didn't remember how crazy Chloe really was, That's when the rest of the girls were like, okay, F it, we ball. Like, she gonna turn up, we gonna turn up too. And then they decide to all run towards the ghost. But the gag is, the ghost starts like running away from them. They tackle the ghost, they rip off the freaking scarf that the ghost has on, and they realize that it's Byron. And they're like, dang, like you've been out here trolling us and you've been pranking us this whole mother freaking time. Like that was you the first 2 times I saw you on the road. The 3rd time I saw you in the hot tub, that was you at the diner dressed in drag, and then afterwards when we saw you as the ghost again. Like this is crazy. We thought you were our friend because, mind you, like I said, they've been knowing Byron since they were in Rock Angels as well. So like, what is the issue? Like, why would you play us like this? So they're really upset about it. Byron's just like, guys, like, come on, it's not a big deal. Like, it's all fun and games. Like, I just thought that if I pranked you guys like throughout the week, that it would make the show more interesting and, make it turn up. So like, really, you should be thankful. If anything, it's like the energy that he's giving. And they're like, no, like it's a chop. And that's when Byron's like, okay, well, sorry about that. Not sorry. But I'll see you guys in New York. He gets on a helicopter and he rides away. And then Team Bratz are like, okay, whatever. So they get back in the car and then they're like, all right, well, let's go to New York. Also, I just wanted to say that one thing that was really, I feel like, messed up, especially about Byron doing this, is like, that's kind of devious energy. You know what I mean? Like, you literally heard Chloe say that she has agoraphobia, and then you decided, yeah, I'm going to turn up. And it's like, huh? Why would you do that when they're literally kids? They're literally teenagers. It's so weird. But anyways, so by the time they make it to New York, Team Your Thing makes it to New York first. But they end up getting kicked out because at this point, Berdine is literally tweaking, okay? Because after she saw those aliens and been driven off the road and like all the trials and tribulations she's gone through this week, she is like delirious. It's almost like she's just in a state of psychosis and needs to be admitted to a psychiatric mental facility because she is like so paranoid. And she's like, the aliens are coming to get us. Like, the end is near. Like, she is not herself. Her lips are chapped. Her face is literally like bare, no makeup, no glam. She looks like she hasn't slept like all week. And Byron's like trying to tell her, like, no, like, I was the alien, right? Like, the aliens were not real. And she's like, see, I knew it was something non-human about you. So now she's like taking what Byron says literally and is like convinced that he's actually an alien. So she's just tripping. So clearly, like, Team Your Thing is just not valid to like be in the competition anymore. Even the Tweevils tried to like get up on stage and like, you know, do modeling on the runway, and nobody is living for them. So they end up getting kicked out. And then that's when the Bratz make it to the show. It's the finale in New York. And they're like, okay, we're here. Like, we're Team Bratz. And the bodyguard is like, no, like, Team Bratz is already here. Tell me why Mandy made it before they made it, of course, and checked in on behalf of Team Bratz, and somehow, some way, the girls still end up being able to like sneak their way in after not being let in, and they look up at the runway and they see Mandy strutting down the runway on behalf of Team Bratz wearing Sheridan's designs. Like, that is so bold, so shady. Like, girl, that's disgusting, isn't it? So now Sheridan's upset, the Bratz are upset, and they're like, this is a chop. They end up like going backstage and they talk to Byron, and they're like, Byron, like, what's going on? Like, we do not claim Mandy as a representative for Team Bratz. Like, Sheridan is the person that we want to be up there as our designer. But then Byron is like, well, that's technically against the rules because Sheridan isn't from a qualifying city. Like, they picked her up in like a random city because, mind you, I told you Team Your Thing like had them go in the wrong direction, and then that's how they ended up in the cornfields, and then being in the cornfields, that's where they met Sheridan. So they're like, if she's not technically from a city that you were supposed to go to, like, you can't use her. And that's when Chloe was like, okay, well, like, was you trolling us and pranking us a part of the rules too? Because what was that? And Byron was like, okay, well, like, you got me there. Like, you got a point. I guess you can, you know, you can use her. She can go out there. So that's when Sheridan goes out on the stage. Well, before she goes on stage, she's like, well, what am I supposed to do? Like, Mandy took all my designs. Like, we have 20 minutes before I'm supposed to go out there. What? And then the Bratz are like, okay, girl, like, no, you got this. We take some hot glue guns. We got some diamonds. We can just, you know, spice everything up. And that's when Sheridan is able to, you know, edit her outfit, and she's able to bling up the rest of the girls' outfits. And she's a little bit nervous to go out there in front of all those people because, you know, she's just a small, you know, country girl. But the Bratz are like, girl, you got this. Like, go up there and serve cunt. Like, you can do it. Sheridan goes up on stage. She turns up and tears the runway down. You hear me? Sheridan turned it out. The Bratz are like, yes, girl, we stand, we live. Like, you are doing so good. We're so proud of you, sweetie. And she turns up. So then that's when it's time for the audience to vote. In the end, the audience chose Sheridan over Mandy. And Mandy was not happy about it, obviously. And they're like, yeah, Sheridan, like, you won, period. So then Byron is backstage, and he obviously has like the diamond go-go boots and a briefcase, because I told you at the beginning, for the prize winner, they get the diamond go-go boots, and they also get like a contract with like a fashion designer, a really popular fashion designer. So Mandy ends up finding him backstage, takes one of her cowboy boots, sneaks up behind him, smacks Byron in the head, takes the go-go boots out of the briefcase, puts them on, and runs off with them. And then that's when the Bratz catch up with Byron, and they're like, what happened? And he's like, Mandy took the boots. So they're like, heck no, like, what is going on with this girl? Like, Mandy is out of control. So they start running too, because they're like, we're not about to let this girl loose. We are not about to let this girl go. And it proceeds to show like a whole montage of the Bratz running around the New York streets chasing after Mandy. Like, it's insane. Her and Sheridan end up fighting back and forth after a tussle and all of that, and like literally almost getting hit by a subway train. Like, somehow they're able to catch Mandy in the act. She ends up getting arrested because why would you steal literal diamond go-go boots? I don't know. In the end, like, Sheridan's able to get her prize. She's able to get her go-go boots. She's able to get her contract. And on top of that, I guess the designer that is a part of the show where you win a contract with the designer, he was not only so impressed with Sheridan, but he was just impressed with like the Bratz as a whole. And he wanted them to model his winter collection, I believe it was. So in the end, they have like this little montage where the Bratz and Sheridan are all ice skating and they're like doing a little photo shoot, you know, showing off the cute fits and stuff. And I'm like, oh, like, that's so cute. They look so happy. And that's when Sheridan's parents show up and they drove all the way to New York and they pick Sheridan up and they're like, yes, girl, let's go. And Sheridan's like, thank you guys so much for all you've done for me. And the Bratz are like, yes, don't worry about it. We love you, Sheridan. Turn up. In the end, this whole movie takes place from a Monday to a Saturday, but so much happens in between. Like, I just didn't imagine that it was going to be this chaotic. Like, why would Mandy be so young and so devilish? I will never understand. Like, girl, you're literally a demon. Is insane. Byron acting shady and like psychologically like harassing mentally. This is like mental abuse, right? That he's like put not only the Bratz under, but Team Your Thing. Like, even though I'm not rooting for Team Your Thing, and like the CEO and the Tweevils are just bullies, like the psychosis that she was put under was still really messed up. It was just a wild ride that these movie producers took us on with this film. I'm like, why do I not remember it being this insane? But yeah, so that's Bratz Forever Diamondz. I highly recommend you guys check it out. It just really made me feel good and just like reminisce on all of the good times, the special times, like the nostalgia of it all. Because like I said, you know, this like entire era was just my favorite. Like seeing like Sheridan glam them up with like the diamonds like on their like pant legs and their shirts and like their earrings and just it all just looking so glam and luxurious, like just really sent me down in like this nostalgic, like cozy feeling that I'll just always cherish. And let me know if you guys want me to talk about any of the other Bratz films. Like there's plenty of them. So yeah, I also wanted to let you guys know that since I'm moving, the day that you're listening to this on that Friday, the next Friday after this, I'm going to be moving. So I'm going to be taking a little break just to adjust to being in the new space and set everything up. So I probably will be gone for just a couple of weeks. I'm not 100% sure. I think I might take like a 3-week break, maybe a 4-week break. I'm not officially like set on it, but it's for sure going to be like longer than 2. But I will make sure that I keep you guys posted on everything. Don't worry. I'll be right back right after the move. Not, you know, you won't have to wait too long, but your girl needs time to just get adjusted with the new space. Like moving and change is a lot for me mentally. So we got to make sure everything's right mentally so I can give you guys the best content. And while I'm on my break, you guys can always keep up with me because I still am active like on Instagram, on like my stories at A Little Bit A Lot Podcast. Sometimes I post on TikTok at A Little Bit A Lot Podcast. And of course, I don't think I'll be taking a break from like my coloring content. So you can follow me over there at Coloring with Kristen on YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram as well. I will see you guys very, very soon. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. And like I said at the beginning of the episode, like, comment, and subscribe on YouTube. Rate that 5 stars and leave a review on Spotify and Apple. And I will see you guys soon. Bye.
Forward cause I make rich look richer. Save your breath, baby. I'm not going home with y'all.